Dallas Cowboys draft priorities. Heavy D. That was the name of the, wasn't that Jack Black's band? Mike Fisher reporting from Frisco. Yeah, heavy D. We mentioned the other day that the Cowboys invest so much in what they do on offense, not just like in this era, but in the last 25 years, that maybe the defense suffers because of it. Statistically, the defense absolutely suffers because of it. Can you fix that in this draft? What they did with Diggs last year is a fix. What they did with Gallimore last year is a fix. We'll see if Bradley and I can be part of that fix as well. And now comes April 2021. Priorities. Let's rank them. Let's argue about it here in the comments below. Thank you for subscribing, by the way, hitting that bell and telling your friends. 20,000 of us right around the corner, and the Des Bryant hoodie, courtesy of Des Bryant himself, coming to you as well. Priority number one, cornerback. They have pass rushers. They have defensive ends. Now, you'd like to have 1 million of them, but even if Aldon Smith leaves, the Cowboys have Tank, Randy Gregory, and then Dorrance Armstrong, who somebody in the building thought was better than Randy Gregory, whatever. But Dorrance Armstrong can play. And then the drafting of Anai. And then somebody in the building thinks that Rondell Carter is worth keeping around, since this is going to be his third try in a year to being around. So as important as defensive end and pass rusher is, it's not more important than cornerback. And the Cowboys are really short on cornerbacks. A batch of them ready to hit free agency. So basically, they have Trayvon Diggs, last year's second-round pick, and they have Anthony Brown, who's under contract. Anthony Brown, friend of the show, but they need more, and they need better. And if, and by the way, in this NFL, how many cornerbacks really start? It's kind of weird. If you have been under a rock for the last 20 years, you're going, what do you mean 3 cornerbacks? There's only 2 corners. Why would there be 3? No, it's the way it is. Free agency, fine. But we've seen the Cowboys in free agency try to go cheap, and what we've seen is, in the defensive backfield, what we've seen is Daryl Worley, didn't work. Clinton Dix at safety, didn't work. That's number one. Number two, I think we can say defensive line. And again, do you prioritize pass rushers? Always. But this team doesn't stop the run. And it's awfully reliant on Antoine Woods, an undrafted free agent who they keep for 100 years now, have, you know, like an exclusive right, second-round tender, whatever it is, and they keep him under their thumb, and they never pay him like a starting defensive lineman. And the human log is a worker, but is he a starter on a good defense as a one technique guy? So as I mentioned, they got Neville Gallimore last year as an interior defensive lineman. Maybe Gerald McCoy comes back, although, again, based on last year, trying to do older reclamation projects didn't work very well in free agency. Don Terry Poe didn't work. Clinton Dix didn't work. Daryl Worley didn't work. And Gerald McCoy got hurt. Aldon Smith worked, obviously. Defensive line. Priority number 2. And I don't think, you know, if you're like me, you know, if they, in the first round, draft a cornerback, and in the second round, draft a defensive lineman, and that guy ends up being a rotational player, you're good. By the way, Tristan Hill coming back next year. And so just quality bodies, and throw enough darts that somebody, maybe, that you increase the odds that somebody's actually good. Safety. Here's what they could do. They could say, we're going to play our 4-3 defensive old, so Donovan Wilson gets to be a little more down, a little more in the box. When we have a third linebacker in there, it doesn't actually have to be a linebacker. It can just be Donovan Wilson, a linebacker hitter who can cover better than most linebackers. And then keep Xavier Woods as a center fielder, because that's what this defense will call for. You could do that. Here's the problem with Xavier Woods. He's going to be a free agent. I got a hangnail. I'm sorry. That was weird. Why'd I do that? Sorry. That was gross. If I could edit it out, I would, but I'm not smart enough. That's how comfortable we are together. I'm bite my nails on international TV. Keep Xavier Woods. Can't spend a lot on him. He'd been here for 4 years, and I mean, can you think of that Xavier Woods signature play? Donovan Wilson made more plays in a half a year this year than Xavier Woods made in 4 years. To the eye test and the layman. If Xavier Woods sits me down and says, "Oh, Fish, I can't believe that you're missing," then I'll certainly listen. If a coach or a scout does the same, I'll certainly listen. But would you agree with me that in the top, I can think of Jordan Lewis making plays. I can think of Donovan Wilson making plays. I can think of Jeff Heath making plays in recent years in the secondary. Can't think of, and Byron Jones. Can't think of many others, including Xavier Woods. You could do that. Or the Joneses and Will McClay and the Cowboys could say, maybe we've waited long enough in the post-Darren Woodson era, and Roy Williams too. Why don't we go ahead and value safety in the draft? Number 4. I feel comfortable with Tyron Smith and with Lyle Collins. And then they have this collection of kids. Knight, Steele. Isn't that good enough? But I do keep hearing informed Cowboy talkers with some worry about Tyron Smith. He has missed 17 of the last 32 Cowboy games. I'm not worried about Lyle Collins at all. I mean, the hip surgery doesn't, I don't think these are debilitating things. But it could be argued that Tyron Smith is an old 30. There's a lot of wear on those tires. He's still a stud when he plays. I'll take him on my team. Football warrior. But in this draft, even at 10, if the next Tyron Smith is sitting there at 10, very tempting. So that's priority number 4 in the draft. And then priority number 5. They have put themselves in a tricky spot at linebacker. If you go all the way back, was Sean Lee a second-round pick? Jalen Smith, second-round pick. Leighton Vander Esch, first-round pick. That's premium picks. I know the Sean Lee thing is cheating a little bit. That was a long time ago. But still. And we don't know what Sean Lee's going to do as we speak now. And Leighton Vander Esch is good, but. And Jalen Smith can be good, but. And Sean Lee is good, but. That group's just good enough to not get you up and over the top. So linebackers on this list. And it's weird because they just invested in the last 4 years high picks on 2 guys, and they both start, and they both been to the Pro Bowl. But, so there's my top 5. There's my group of 5. Let's discuss in the comments below. You can rearrange the order. We can throw out some names. We've talked about some of the college cornerbacks. Surtain makes sense at 10. Horn makes sense in a trade down from there. Slater, the offensive lineman, makes sense at 10. And there'll be more names that we kick around as well. Thank you for kicking it with us, Fish in Frisco. Thanks for subscribing as well. Thanks for sharing a cup of coffee with me and a hangnail. Fish out.